Hi everybody, welcome back. I'm Cass with College of Lore.
I am the Penitent with College of Lore, and
Do you guys think that they know who we are yet?
I hope so.
Hi, do you guys know who we are yet? If you don't, go watch our other videos and subscribe to our YouTube channel that we're talking on right now.
At time of recording, we are at 82 subscribers?
Something like that. 81, 82. It's a mystery.
We're
trying to get to 100 by the end of the year. You
Yeah.
guys are doing a really good job, and we're really proud of you. So just keep it up.
We picked up,
We picked up a lot.
we picked up a lot of subscribers yesterday, and we'd like to pick up more today. If you want to help us out, that'd be great. Subscribe, like, comment on
this video. Subscribe for more, hit the notification bell.
Yeah.
Join us on Patreon where we're hanging out. We have our own Discord server and everything. You can get access to it by giving us as little as $2.
Check out...
Or you could give us more dollars than that.
Check out our patrons,
No. We thank you to our patrons, Remy Sweet and Of Winter. Don't check them out unless they want you to.
Anyway.
I think they probably don't. Let's be respectful of other people's boundaries.
So, what happened last time on...
Oh yeah, we're rewatching Vox Machina, guys. So the last episode, vampires, hot.
Can I help you?
Yeah, our cat's going a little bit crazy right now. Sorry, guys. Anyway, Briarwoods. That's all I have to say about it. Y'all already know, if you've been watching the series, you know how I feel about the Briarwoods, and just in case anyone needed any sort of refresher or update on that situation, I still think the Briarwoods are hot.
So what happened last episode?
Nothing except that how they were so hot. That's the important detail.
So last episode...
So if we're all on the same page, let's continue talking about this one. No, last episode, the Briarwoods showed up in Amon, and Vox Machina was like, who the fuck are these guys? And Percy was like, oh shit, I know who the fuck these guys are. And then he had a whole breakdown, and then everyone got in a fight, and it was really bad, and the Briarwoods kind of kicked Vox Machina's ass, and then they got arrested. Vox Machina got arrested, not the Briarwoods, unfortunately. But also, don't put them in jail. They're too hot for jail.
Doing great, guys.
They're too hot for jail. What?
No, Vox Machina.
Vox Machina. I thought you were talking about me.
This episode...
I am doing great.
This episode, however, is called Shadows at the Gates.
Shadows at the Gates.
Its description is, after ruining Sovereign Uriel's diplomatic dinner...
They sure did do that.
Vox Machina is under house arrest. Keyleth convinces Percy to open up about his past. Pike fears that she has lost her connection to her deity. And a looming new threat is on its way to confront Vox Machina.
That's a lot of different things that happen in one episode. They sure do happen in this episode.
Yeah, they weren't kidding. That can happen in this episode.
That episode description can accurate to what happens in the episode. That description can episode.
It sure can.
Anyway, we start with, oops, Vox Machina did a big fuck up, big mistake. They're having a rough go of things lately.
Yeah, they sure are.
So Uriel's pretty mad.
Yeah, he wants them just kind of like thrown in the dungeon for what they've done.
He's not having it, which maybe there's a little more going on there, considering that we saw him get compelled. Probably is.
I like showing Sovereign Uriel as this. I think Sovereign Uriel is generally a cool person, so...
So him being real angry is kind of suspect.
Yeah. Vex accuses Uriel, without him in the room, of being under the Briarwoods' influence.
Allura is, like, surprisingly receptive to this, but also not surprised. I mean, she knows him. She knows Uriel. She's worked with him for a long time. She can tell when something is off about him.
I mean, I think...
So she's willing to at least hear them out a little bit.
I think that says a lot about her relationship with Uriel.
Yeah, I think it does too. I think it's kind of a small but notable insight into how much she understands him.
Yeah, 100%.
And how connected their work is. So instead of putting them in jail, she puts them under house arrest. How can you arrest a house?
As Grog says.
What? How can you arrest a house? I want to know the answer to that.
Some people are bummed by, but Percy and Pike are actually... We're not in jail, so...
Yeah. Briarwoods.
Then we cut to the
I blacked out on what was going on in this scene because I was too busy watching how pretty they are.
Delilah goes through her chest. I shouldn't have said Delilah and chest in the same sentence.
Don't be mean to me. I'm trying not to be openly like that on the channel.
And
No, I'm
finds
not.
that
I'm not trying
her
at all.
book is missing.
No, that's so sad.
She is, reminder, the antagonist.
No, give her stuff back. She needs that for evil necromantic rituals.
But Silas tells her not to worry, they can get it back.
Silas, good. Changed my mind. You can't.
Opening credits.
Opening credits. I'm not gonna get copyright claimed. That was like 4 notes. Actually, it was 6, I think. Trinket, my baby boy.
Yeah,
My
is
little baby guy.
tied up outside to a
He's
tree.
very sad. And they take all their stuff.
And he does not want to be tied to a tree.
He doesn't like it. Not one bit. Hey, we have a cool guy.
Yeah, so Captain Jarrett appears in this episode.
Captain Jarrett. Yeah. Love him. He's pretty cool.
As the guards take away Vox Machina's weaponry and
Give him their stuff back.
loot.
Which he tries to say is not a weapon. It's not true.
And of course, left alone in their keep, the group tries to entertain themselves. Which,
sort of.
entertain or mope or... Yeah.
Yeah,
Grog
those are the
lifts some
options.
stuff. Percy kind of
Much
mopes.
to everyone else's annoyance.
Pike kind of mopes. Scanlan and Vax fight.
Well, fight is a word you can use for it. They throw middle fingers at each other for like a few seconds.
On the upside, everything's coming up Vox Machina because Vax is not turning into a vampire.
Yeah, that's great news. Coward.
He kind of looks in the window and sees that he can still see his reflection, and he's like, yeah, okay, that's fine.
Never mind. I'm not gonna ask any more questions about it.
Scanlan is trying to examine the tome.
Yeah.
Well, Pike is kind of just sitting in the corner, sulking and thinking to herself.
Sulking is the wrong word. She's contemplating.
Yes,
she's just really sad.
Sulking.
Okay. The tome. It's spooky and there's skeletons
in
and
a
stuff.
strange language, but there are some scary little drawings in here.
Eek. A skeleton. At least one.
After they
The
find
skeleton appears.
that they make little headway in just translating the book.
Yes.
Percy and Vex have an awkward conversation
They're
where
trying their best.
Percy is again resistant to tell them more, especially about the smoke, which to be fair, he doesn't really know about.
He doesn't quite have a grasp on it yet, but he will sure get one.
Thing that happens later isn't intentional.
Yep.
Yeah.
Flashback sequence.
Percy finally does open up, tells them about the Briarwoods arriving. We see younger Briarwoods and younger Percy.
They're just little guys. They're little guys.
He tells them the Briarwoods arrived and turned the people that worked for their parents against them.
Yep.
And that he and his sister were tortured and tried to escape, and that he escaped and his sister Cassandra did not. That will come up later.
Whoa! I know I told you guys where I got my name from. Cassandra, my favorite character.
Yes.
Very close second, the Briarwoods.
But
So that's an interesting intersection of characters to like.
the party stands with Percy, and they will follow whatever he needs them to do.
They're gonna all go to Whitestone, except they're on house arrest, so that's gonna be hard.
The Briarwoods arrive at a cemetery. The next note is yours to read.
I want to put a screen cap of that note in the video. You wrote it down. You wrote it, not me. You put the blushing emoji in there. That was not my decision.
What does the note say?
I'm embarrassed to say. Sometimes a very buff vampire makes you a little bit blushy emoji.
Silas is strong.
He's very powerful.
And Delilah starts to cast a spell.
And it's a little bit hot.
Credit to her voice actor, Grey Griffin, for emoting that well with a language that doesn't actually exist.
Not real. The graveyard explodes.
Yeah, so the graveyards explode, and it cuts away. It cuts back to Percy, who's found an old passage in the keep. He says that a lot of keeps like this have old passages.
Maybe he has his own experience with that, considering he lived in a castle.
Pike can't seem to make light, and neither can Keyleth as they walk through this dark tunnel.
They sure try to find an escape.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter, because they do find an escape, and they get out, and oh no.
They, quote-unquote, get out. Air quotes.
They are immediately cut off by a bunch of guards.
Silly moment.
Hey, the guards did say if they tried to escape, they'd be killed on sight, so at least...
So they didn't get killed on sight, which is good news.
That would have been a bad ending
That
for
would
the
have been a really
series.
bad ending for the series. But they do get separated. They get put in separate rooms,
Yes,
like little babies.
Percy and Keyleth, Grog and Pike, and the twins and Scanlan. While Scanlan makes a sandwich, Vex and Vax debate leaving...
I'm gonna make a sandwich, but not because he told me to.
Yes.
Mood.
Vex and Vax debate leaving the group entirely.
Bye.
By the way...
Man, that also would have been an unsatisfying conclusion.
I usually mention this at the start of things. You should have watched this episode first.
It's fine. I think they know by now. No one would start on this with episode 4. I hope. That would be really silly.
If you're someone who likes starting with episode 4 of things...
Why?
Yeah, I was going to say let us know in the comments, but actually, let us know what's wrong with you.
What's wrong with you? Why is this the first one of these you're watching?
Yeah.
Anyway, something spooky's going on outside of the keep.
Something haunted this way comes.
Something spooky this way comes.
There is, like, the guard is outside and...
Whoosh,
just
torch goes out.
A torch goes out.
Something is watching. Spooky moment.
Something is in the shadows. Pike attempts to... We cut back to Pike and Grog, as Pike is attempting to give prey to the Everlight, but finds very little.
Yep, she is not... She's going through it. She's not getting what she wants out of this one.
As Grog tries to comfort her...
He tries. He's trying really hard, but he does not do a great job. He's making an emotionally intelligent attempt, though, which is more than some people give him credit for. I like him.
And Grog accidentally quotes one of my other favorite shows and says, "Why don't you just say you're sorry?"
Yeah.
Regarding the Everlight.
Yeah.
Suggests that Pike should apologize.
Yeah. And Pike is like, well, that would be a really good idea if the Everlight could hear me.
Yeah.
Not in that tone at all, but that's the energy of it.
This is where I'd put my ability to communicate to the Everlight, if I had one.
If I had it, yeah. More weird stuff. More spooky boys.
Yeah, one of the guards dies in a really gory fashion.
This whole episode is super gory, and it freaked me out a little bit, because I am... Eek. The gore doesn't necessarily freak me out as much as the spooky stuff.
Yeah.
I have issues with certain kinds of horror, and that is one of them. Things following me is bad vibes.
Yeah,
We found out why I hate horror, and it's actually because I hate being chased.
Yeah.
Which I think most people hate that.
But we do like being we may not like being followed, but we do like being subscribed to.
Yeah? Okay. Is that the joke we're making this episode?
Yes.
Okay. Let's talk about Keyleth and Percy.
Yeah, Keyleth and Percy. Percy isn't initially much for conversation.
Yeah, he's kind of angsting and building a gun.
Yeah, trying to build a gun. I don't think he has the proper gun supplies on him right now.
He's trying, though. He's got most of his stuff.
But Keyleth does talk about her Aramente, which is her kind of coming-of-age ritual / coming-of-leadership ritual for the Arashari, or all Ashari, really.
Yes.
And, boy, I wonder if she's going to complete it at some point.
Whoa, it would be really narratively
It's
unsatisfying if she didn't.
It's almost like I've watched Campaign 3.
Whoa. Spoilers for Campaign 3.
Percy does say that he thinks that she's very worthy.
Which is sweet. They're good friends, and they get better
Yes.
friends even later on.
I like the...
I like the friendship between Percy and Keyleth a lot. It makes me happy.
I like when it shows characters who interact less. You know, you have
Yeah.
these people who interact a lot. You have Vex and Vax, obviously.
And
Vex
even like Vax and Keyleth, Vex and Percy.
Vex and Percy, Grog, and
Pike.
Pike and Scanlan, all these things.
But it's nice to see some other stuff going on, too.
Yeah, it's nice
And
to
I
see...
love that Keyleth and Percy become good friends, and I feel like sometimes, and this is not super an issue in Critical Role, but there are some storylines that put a couple characters together in a relationship, and then are like, okay, well, that's the only people those characters are going to talk to now.
You know?
And Critical Role in general, but this especially, it does such a good job of giving everyone their time in the spotlight, and with lots of people, so it's not just the one guy.
I very much adore some things. I adore Ruby.
Yeah.
But it sometimes has that problem because it has a very short runtime, and
Yes.
it's not hampered. This isn't hampered by a short runtime, so they can
Yes.
put characters together.
Yes.
But the two of them hear commotion outside as we cut to see the guards.
Again.
They explore outside. Trinket seems on edge, like he is sensing something.
He
And as
is.
one of the guards approaches him, oh boy, more brutality.
Yucky. Yucky spook goop.
Creepy spook goop pours out of the sky.
Ooh, yucky icker.
Icky icker.
Icky icker. It's like, hey, we gotta go, and then they go, and then the guards are like, look what you've done, and Vox Machina is like, what?
What we've done?
What we've done? Look what you've done!
You let them in.
You let these guys in. This is your fault. This is your idea, not mine. You're the ones who stuck us in here.
The lights go out and we finally see them. These really actually freaky looking ghost things.
They're spooky.
Yeah, these like specters that...
Yeah.
Yeah, they're creepy.
Yucky.
2 more guards die, which is a thing.
Yep. Lots of guys
Scanlan
dying.
is attacked, so I actually want to talk about this.
Yes.
We see everyone, I think, in Vox Machina at some point get attacked by these things.
Yes.
And live, whereas most guards die within a few seconds of being ripped into. I want to talk about how the show represents the hit point difference between a guard and an adventurer.
Yes, it's very cool. It's just the fortitude of it, you know?
Yeah, it's one of the things I really appreciate. You know, it's one of those things that might not make sense in a traditional show when you're looking at it, but when you look at it coming from D&D, when you see the hit point differential,
yeah,
you're like, oh wow, okay, this actually translates really well over, and I think this show does a great job adapting D&D things into this.
It's really good. Honestly, the whole show just translates some stuff so interestingly. All of the abilities, all of the spells, all of the mechanics, it all goes really well. I mean, we've talked about, and we'll talk about more, Percy's misfire mechanic coming into play. It's just, they incorporate it so well into the animation. It's very crunchy. I'm putting it in my mouth. Vex is pretty immediately kind of puts it together that what they're there for is the book.
Yes.
Which especially makes sense because they sure are at least vaguely aware that Delilah has spooky magic.
Yeah, Vax tries to stab one of the creatures off Scanlan.
And it does not work.
Cannot. It seems like it has immunity to piercing, slashing, and bludgeoning damage.
At least from non-magical weapons.
Yes, indeed it does.
Wow.
I think it's great that he is able to... that he's the first one to get, like, a proper weapon. The ghosts do storm the party, but they fall back, and then that doesn't last very long.
Nope, it does not.
As
It's rough.
who's holding the tome, is kind of attacked through the wall.
It's brutal. That one's rough to watch.
Yeah, her head kind of rolls back. And
it freaks me out a little bit. But it's very well executed for how spooky it is.
And they just attack everyone. They attack Percy, they attack Scanlan, they kind of just throw everyone on the ground. They brutalize Grog. I like that Pike just, like, cusses one of them out while it attacks her.
Yeah.
And just spits in their face.
She's a mood. I love her.
The only guard still alive is Captain Jarrett, who's kind of getting this idea, and he lights flint against his sword to ignite his torch.
Which works for a little while, and then they blow it out.
It seems to weaken, which immediately kind of gets... I think it's Vax?
Yeah.
On the idea of, like, oh shit, light.
Yeah.
And Pike tries her best to make it, but you see her broken holy symbol.
Yeah.
She just can't make it.
She's going through it.
Keyleth, the other person who can cast light.
She's going through it.
Yeah.
She's having a panic attack.
As she often does in Season 1.
Which is okay because she's still learning. She's just a little guy, and I love her.
Percy, referencing their earlier conversation,
which is really cool.
Encourages her. Prove herself.
Yeah. And she does it. She makes a little ball of light. Foreshadowing.
Yeah, so, big foreshadowing.
Big foreshadowing that she's starting to be able to do that.
Pay attention to this. The reference is her being light. You're the light now. This little sun. Pay attention to that later in the season.
Yes.
With the light, the party easily murders the ghost.
Percy fucking slings that ghost around.
Percy just 1v1s this ghost in a hand-to-hand combat.
Just, like, picks it up and just starts smashing it into stuff. It's kind of badass.
Yeah.
Percy good.
They survive. Jarrett also survives. No one fucking else does, except for Trinket.
Trinket's all good.
The ghost seemed uninterested in the bear entirely.
That's good. I'm glad he's okay. There's a good moment here of Percy just being like, you have my word, I will.
Yeah.
I was already planning to go kill the Briarwoods, but now I'm extra gonna kill the Briarwoods for your guys.
Jared is like, you're gonna go kill the people that did this to my men? And Percy says, you have my word, and Jared just kind of opens the door for them.
Very good. He lets them sneak out, and then is like...
How am I explaining this?
Yeah, how am I explaining this to everyone? Help.
Percy sets out for Whitestone, intending to go alone, but the party has other plans.
Yep, they're gonna go with him, because it would be really narratively unsatisfying if they didn't.
They're a party, and they do this together.
Yep.
And no one takes no for an answer. Of
Except
course,
Trinket.
Yeah, Vex tells Trinket he has to stay here to be safe.
Sad.
Which eliminates some things that happened in the original campaign.
Bear Percy should have happened.
Bear
Changed
Percy,
my mind.
The other thing that's really funny is at one point he like Winnie the Poohs over a wall.
Oh, good. I think Bear Percy should have happened. I'll be real.
Jarrett sees the crew off as day breaks, and they start to head out, but Pike doesn't.
She does not.
She just kind of stays there and says that she doesn't think she can go because she can't reach the other light. But what Grog said earlier about needing to say she's sorry, it stuck with her.
It did.
Grog offers to go with her, but she refuses, and she says they need you. To which Grog says, what if I need you?
Which is
And
why?
both times it's made me cry.
Aww.
Both times I've seen this episode, this line has made me cry. This is a fantastic way to write Ashley out to kind of represent how she's not always there, especially in Campaign 1. They find creative ways to do it narratively.
Which is really
in
well
this,
done,
which
honestly.
yeah, I mean it's a nice way to represent what actually happened instead of trying to write Pike into the events of what happened on Whitestone.
Yeah.
Which we will see Pike again later this season.
We will.
And we get to see a cool little side adventure of Pike, which I
I really liked. Yeah. And Pike says Keyleth is their light now, which we're gonna. That's some foreshadowing for later.
And the episode ends as Scanlan gives a little wave, and we see the sun.
For now.
So, briefly, a new character debuted this episode.
Yeah.
Captain Jarrett. What do we think of him?
I like him. He's neat.
Yeah, I do too.
I have a lot of respect for someone who, one, is very, very brave in the face of holy shit, all his guys just died. And two, I don't know. I have respect for, obviously it's fictional, but I have respect for anyone who is, one, willing to contest with something that is clearly much stronger than them, and two, willing to bend and maybe break some rules in favor of doing the right thing.
He reminds me of a character from one of our games, actually.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go deep into this character.
Of?
Hololith.
Oh, yeah, he does remind me of Hollow, yeah. I love her. Hollow good.
Basically, the idea of a guard willing to bend or break rules for what is actually right is a really good idea.
Yeah.
Also Noble from that same game, I realized.
Yes.
Anyway, character growth.
Yeah, character growth.
Let's talk about what we see.
Let's talk about our guys.
With Vax this episode.
So, to some degree, again, this is kind of a centric thing. It's starting to center on Percy more.
Yes.
But I do really, and this is for both Vax and Vex, who we're going to talk about, but I really appreciate the sentiment of, like, we could leave, but we shouldn't.
So why don't we?
Yeah. We could leave, what's making us stay? And there's just this kind of, there's a moment of, these people are making us stay. We're friends with them, and we care about them.
And the fact that it's not Percy they see in the room, it's not Keyleth.
Yeah.
It's not even Pike, it's Scanlan.
It's Scanlan, yeah. Just the fact that even the ones that they often fight with are, like, Vax finds him to be kind of a little shit most of the time. They're friends, and they're accomplices, and they're partners in crime. And they matter to each other, and that's really, really starting to show.
Yeah. Which I think is a really nice little touch for both Vax and Vex here.
And yeah.
I like Vex's little back and forth with
Vex
Percy
is having
early
back
on.
and forth with a lot of people all the time.
I like how she deduces the book thing first.
Yeah. She's very, very clever, and that is frequently represented, and that makes me very happy.
Yeah, Vex is probably, am I going to say that?
What?
Probably the smartest in the party?
I would honestly, I would say that. At least in that specific context.
Yeah.
She is very smart, and more than that, she's very clever.
Yes.
She's probably the cleverest of the party.
I would say clever is absolutely how I would describe her.
Yes.
Which I think fits how Laura played her.
Yeah.
Percy. So
he's finally trying to open up a little, and then immediately backtracks on that by trying to leave by himself. But he's accepting help. He's learning to acknowledge the fact that these people are gonna stand by him, and that he's not gonna have to do this entirely alone anymore.
I don't think he protested nearly as much as he would have at the start of
I agree.
things.
Absolutely agree. I don't think he would have stood for anyone coming at all before this whole thing.
Yes.
But he is learning that he is not in this alone, and the party is learning that they are all in it together. Keyleth gets a ton of development in this episode, and continues to do so later. Keyleth is really starting to see who she can be.
We talk about this being Percy's season, and in a lot of ways it is. But it's also Keyleth's.
Yeah, this is a really, really important arc for Keyleth to start gaining some confidence. And to really kind of start coming into who she is.
Yeah, I think this season is very Keyleth and Percy focused. And I think next season is going to be focused on the twins primarily.
Yes, because Chroma Conclave stuff.
Yes.
Yes, but I love Keyleth, and it made me happy the first time, and it's making me happy this time to watch her grow and come into who she is as a person, and her confidence grow.
I think that Grog is really sweet.
He is. You know, we've talked a little bit about this in the past, but just the emotional intelligence that he has is so much more than I think some people give him credit for. He's not stupid. He has a very limited range of vision in a lot of aspects of looking at things, but he's not stupid. And he contextualizes things in a very logical way for his understanding of things. And he is really emotionally intelligent to a point that I think a lot of people don't acknowledge.
Yeah, I mean, it's so easy to see. Like, I've seen the comment several times that Vox Machina is pretty bog standard D&D characters.
Yeah. I don't think that's true.
Maybe bog standard by the standard of, like, a professional voice actor.
Yeah. No, there's depth to this.
I think the crux of the point that Campaign 2 and Campaign 3 have deeper characters.
I think they have different characters. And I think they're deep in different ways.
Yeah.
But I don't think you have to super deviate from the standard vibe of a character to have them be deep and emotional.
It'd be so easy to see Grog as a standard barbarian, or Vax as a standard rogue, or especially Scanlan as a standard bard.
But they have more to them than that, and people just don't really want to touch on that sometimes. Yeah. Most people are happy to find their criticism and root themselves in it, I think.
Scanlan is one of my... I don't want to say, like, I don't like Scanlan, but he's one of the characters I pay attention to least in the show. I feel the least draw to.
And yet, I still think he's very interesting.
There is a moment later in this season, a moment that got pretty famous in the stream, where he single-handedly infiltrates a mansion.
Yes.
And the whole rooftop fight that he has
it's so good.
Is so character-defining for Scanlan.
It's good. There are moments for everyone, and I just really, really appreciate that that's how it goes.
Speaking of someone else whose season this is, Pike.
Yeah, so her arc in this is a little different, obviously. But it's really, really good, and I'm liking already watching it how she's kind of where Keyleth is coming forward, she's almost kind of drawing back a little as she feels like she's losing her confidence because of her loss of connection, and then we're gonna see later how she gets that confidence back.
I love the restraint on the part of the showrunners and the part of Matt to not have her pull out some miraculous, in spite of the loss of power, burst of light here.
Yes.
I like that it has to be Keyleth. Some people might complain that it focuses on Keyleth too much. I like that Pike can't do it.
Yeah, I think it's important for her character.
I agree.
That she actually can. It's not just like, oh, she's struggling with it, but she actually still can. No, she can. She's having a moment of... I mean, fundamentally, it's a really good metaphor for PTSD.
Yeah.
And trauma. Like...
It's also a good metaphor for, like, losing faith in yourself.
Yeah. In a lot of things, but especially in yourself. You know, it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy of if you feel like you can't do it, you can't do it, but also... shit's hard.
She doesn't lack belief in the Everlight. She lacks belief in herself.
Yeah, and that kind of comes up more later, as when she actually finally does get to speak to her god and kind of reconnect with that. What she needs to find is the confidence in herself and not the confidence in her god, which she has always had, she just feels like she's lost the connection. And I think that's really cool.
Let's talk about Scanlan's episode.
Yeah. So I appreciate that even through all the goofs and stuff that he has going on, there is real depth. There is real depth, and there is an integrity to him that I feel like people don't super touch on sometimes. One of the things that I really like about Scanlan is that he is not just open and honest about the, horny bard stereotype thing. He is honestly really emotionally vulnerable sometimes, and I respect that about him. And that's something that he kind of learns to be more vulnerable about. And I think we'll continue to see that, but I like to see a little bit of development of him. Sometimes it seems like he's just there for the stereotype, but he's not, and I like that sometimes we get to see a little bit more of that. Especially at the end where he waves to Pike, you know, it's a moment of... There's a genuine connection between the two of them. And he's trying to acknowledge that instead of just moving forward and trying to forget about it, which I think is nice.
And it's a very little moment, it's very easy to miss. I don't mean to call it a little moment, it's very easy to miss, but
it is, but it shouldn't be missed. It shouldn't be discounted. The fact that he's trying to keep those connections open, and he clearly actually cares about her and is acknowledging it, that's important.
And, lastly, growth and establishment for the Briarwoods this episode.
Pretty. Were you expecting me to say that? No, surely not.
I think it shows... I like that it shows that Silas will go to any length for her. And I think it's...
Man, we are sure gonna see that she will go to any length for him.
Yep, she will...
Make deals with evil gods.
Might you say break the world for him?
God.
Hey, it's almost like... Never mind.
What? What?
It's almost like someone in this room has written a song about that.
Whoa. No way. Yeah, I did. I made a fan song. I will not post the link because I'm embarrassed. It's on Spotify, though.
Anyway, if you have any fan songs about College of Lore...
No, you don't. That would be silly. But you could make one. Submit it to us on our email.
Yeah. Seriously, thank you guys so much. The support on the last video was insane.
Yeah, we're super hyped about that. You guys are awesome. Keep it up, seriously. You guys are the best. We're really close to our goal. We're less than 20 subscribers away from our goal for the end of the year. Hang with us. Keep it up. You know, share this around. Get us to our goal. We may have to extend it if things keep up, but you guys can do it. You can get us there, and we're gonna keep churning out content for you guys so that you can get us there.
We appreciate you all so much. Please subscribe. Content every single day.
Every single day.
That's a promise to you.
Yep, and check out our Shorts channel as well, which is also uploading twice a day. Help. So many.
Yeah. And we're going to post an announcement video soon
I hope.
about what we're doing with our actual play channel.
Yep. We're figuring it out. We're working it out.
Anyway, love you guys.
Love you. Bye.
Thank you for watching this video from College of Lore. Remember to like this video, subscribe to join the party, and have a fantastic adventure.